Hi there viewers, and welcome to an introduction or a little bit more of an understanding about the PSY cards that I do the readings for, the Planet Earth Watchers. I see it's becoming quite popular, and I imagine that a lot of the viewers that are watching don't really understand what the PSY cards are about. So this is just a little video to give you a little bit more understanding of how they originated, what they're actually about, and how I use them. Now, they were first developed in the 80s, and they were based on psychoanalyst Carl Jung's ideas of archetypes, and they were actually devised by Nick Hobson and Maggie Keane. And there are 40 cards in all, so I'll just sort of run through a few while the video's going. And I've written down some notes here, so I am just sort of reading them off notes as I go along. The cards came to the originator, Nick Hobson, during a dream, and he wrote this little bit that I shall read out now. And it states, "It was, as it were, on a high place, looking down on my own life, and could see all the elements that had made me what I was, and set out separately the influences of my family, my background, my education, my friends, my fears, my hopes. The feeling I had was one of peace and control. It was very comprehensible." So the PSY card system draws on psychoanalysis and poetry, and it's closely linked to the Jungian psychology, and in particular Carl Jung's notion of the collective unconscious, namely that we all share a common residue of humanity's experience in the form of archaic images and symbols, revealed in threads of stories and poetry told throughout history and cultures of humanity. These threads and echoes shape the way we experience and engage with those around us. These shared unconscious memories are archetypes, and a number of the PSY cards expressly symbolize the specific Jungian archetypes. Every day around us we encounter symbols like on the roads, on the TV, in books. They can be, let's take for example an arrow. Now that's a symbol that directs us in a particular direction, and he's used arrows in his deck here on some of his cards. In fact, as I said that, I pulled the next one out, and there's the father with an arrow pointing in a specific direction. Take for example a candle. You know, it's been used for years and centuries. It symbolises a lot of different things. In religions, candles hold many different particular revelations or emotions behind it, and some of the things that they can mean are birth, light, warmth, oldness. Now the signs and symbols and archetypes are a constellation of elements that make up our lives and the lives of those around us, going all the way back in our history of humanity, that we understand. Jungians hold that the symbols that reoccur in stories, dreams, poems throughout our history do so because we share this collective unconscious memory. Carl Jung was born in 1875 in July in Switzerland, and he died on the 6th of June 1961. He was particularly interested in dream analysis and synchronicity, the archetype, and collective unconsciousness. He was a student of Sigmund Freud's, and they worked together for quite some time until they had a little bit of a disagreement on works in particular, and their friendship fell to pieces. Carl Jung had an interesting life. When he was a young lad, he suffered a very severe concussion, and reading back on the literature that's been published about him, it's at that point that he claims he started to experience dynamic thoughts and feelings that connected him to the universe as a whole. Now that's basically how the PSY cards were thought of and came about, through this chap Nick Hobson, and it is Carl Jung's interpretive of this collective consciousness or unconsciousness that he works with. And in each card there are usually several different layers of occurrences and events that you need to look at in the picture and try and take into consideration the actions that are happening. There are some cards that are quite specific, like the no, the yes, the now, and the never. So with the earth readings that I'm doing, we're kind of in the proceeds or the step of starting a new understanding for the cards, and I haven't worked through them all yet. I'm just working through them as they come out in each reading. There's some of these that you will have seen in some of the readings before. So it's a journey of progress and learning while we're doing it, but I thought that you might all want to just comprehend a little bit more the understanding behind the PSY cards. So basically they are human psychology tied into this collective unconsciousness, and I personally feel it's a very powerful aspect of us that a lot of people have, I don't know, perhaps disbelieved or not been aware of or are shut down to, but it's very prevalent, and I think modern day society is accepting far more now that the famous psychologists of the days gone by like Jung and Freud were in fact pretty spot on with a lot of their psychoanalysis. Okay, thanks guys, heads up.